Right now, I'm playing this, which is my new signature special. As I hope guitar music is evolving, I'm interested in that, and I would like for my guitar to contribute to that. If people buy my guitars, I want them to do a really good job for everybody. So much like I put the bigger neck on my signature one for my guitar playing brothers and sisters, that is the same kind of logic that I'm doing with this, including the pickups. It isn't just to make it look pretty, which it really does. I always, for some reason, think about indie bands in Brighton and indie bands in Edinburgh and indie bands in Liverpool and Manchester and just all around the country, and genuinely try and imagine my guitar in people's rehearsal rooms, because I feel like they're sort of kind of my people, really. You know, I'm not talking about my fans, but the culture that I come from and the culture that I still feel very much attached to. So I want it to work for people who play that kind of music like me. So this was the start of my sort of Jag life. This guitar I got from Isaac Brock, my friend in Modest Mouse, 2005. First night I joined the band, and there's a whole story about sort of happenstance, really. I'd spotted this in Isaac's guitar rack, and he didn't have the stickers on it or anything like that. It was just black, and I started playing this riff, and just immediately it felt right and sounded right. But I kind of thought this is like quite a significant moment. It turned out to be completely right. It was a significant moment, because from that moment on, I really got into this guitar, used it exclusively in the early days of Modest Mouse, wrote an album with it, and then I was off then. But it is an uncanny thing. I think guitar players sort of will know what I'm talking about when you just have this real connection with a certain guitar of whatever style. It sounded like I think I'm supposed to sound, how people think I sound. So it was bright, chimey, the neck and the way it all came together, the fingerboard, made me play melodies and a sound that is sort of what I do, really. So it made me play to my strengths. It just seemed to be a moment in my life where everything just sort of came into focus, and I felt like I was about to make some new discoveries. And that period with Modest Mouse was not only really enjoyable, but it was successful and very creative. So it was a life-changing moment for me, really, getting into this particular guitar. And it's led me to, and us, me and Fender and fans and stuff, to where we are today. And so that's been, what is that now, like sort of 20 years. The thing about the signature, when it all came together, it was a process of experimentation with the pickups, trying out different bare knuckle pickups. So what happened there was I went through a bunch of different Jags live all the time and really checking out the sound of it, getting really nerdy about what I wanted from the sort of pickups until I was pretty sure of it. And then we're experimenting with bit by bit with the shape of the guitar. So all through the early gigs I was doing with the Cribs, 2009, 2010, all that period of shows, my guitar was changing and changing. I've been given a really unusual, quite chunky neck by Jay Rosen in San Francisco, just the neck. And then that was the one that I bolted on. So it was starting to come together. When I went out on my first solo tour, The Messenger, I was playing all different kinds of my own repertoire. I had all the new material, of course, but we were doing a couple of different electronic songs, Forbidden City, Getting Away With It, stuff, Get the Message, and then the Smiths songs, and the new stuff. So there was a real variety of my past sounds. So the guitar had to be able to do that. I became quite averse to guitar changes. I just wanted to have the same guitar, which is completely opposite of the way I was when I was in the Smiths. Different tunings and all of that. So the guitar needed to do a lot of stuff. The fundamental sound that people think is me, but then going into all these other tones. And this thing of the two pickups being in series in that fourth position with these switches did that in me. In a way, it sounds, the closest I can describe it, it's like a Jag having a P90, if anyone can imagine that. So it's as close to a P90 as possible. This one particularly, this has got these designs were done in ink by my friends Ali and Ori, Aldous Huxley, Chrysler Building, New York, and Marcel Duchamp's bicycle wheel. So it's got a lot of character. So I've done loads of gigs with this now. It's kind of pretty funky and beaten up. The first one that came, the first production model, I made a point of giving that to Nile Rodgers. When Nile got his head around just, the diversity of sounds, he couldn't believe it. He contacted me and was saying, like, you know, I used it in the studio, and because it's really jazzy as well. For me, in being who I am and who I work with, I am proudly, you know, a citizen of indie land. I'm an indie rock musician, and if it covers all the corners of the indie world, as I think of it, indie rock guitar music, then I've done my job, really, I think. I think I played this one, aside from the original one, the prototype. I think I probably played this one live more than any other, and it's because it feels right to me. It's one of those things where I've got a bit of a history with it, but it sounds really good. I had this idea of it being like a champagne yellow sparkle, which I don't think's ever been done before. And the cool thing about it was being done yellow sparkle, and in the process of it being done before the yellow was being put on, Fender called me and said, you might want to have a look at the way it looks now, because it looks really, really brilliant. It looks great. It's a really unusual colour. Don't know where you can make it out now, but it's gone kind of green. It's got like a slight green kind of hue to it over time, and playing it in whatever venues and theatres or whatever. I thought it'd be the right guitar to use when I did the James Bond theme. So I've got a bit of a, as I say, I've got a thing for it. And I mean, some guitars are like that. They just sort of feel really like family or something. It was being done while I was making the Comet album, and then the name Comet Sparkle just sounded really good. So yeah, so that's that one. Which brings us to where we are now. Bill Puplett had mentioned to me just coincidentally that he'd come across the Armstrong lipstick pickup, and it was a really interesting sound. That was his main thing. It's like, we should maybe try and find a guitar to experiment and work on. And this was at the same time that I was sort of wondering where I could take my signature guitar. So we ended up with just my signature neck, but with a different radius, and therefore you have to have a different radius on the bridge, of course, for that to work out right. But the big thing, really, the big news, I suppose, is all about this pickup and the wiring configuration. So the way it works anyway is there's this extra switch. So what this mystery switch is doing is that in this mode, towards the neck, the guitar acts just like my other signature, which I won't go into now, but essentially it's my signature with the same wiring and the series and all of that, and the high pass filter there and what that does. But in other words, this middle pickup isn't on. When it's in the middle position, it's what I've just said, it's my signature wiring, but with this always added. And that immediately makes it sound noticeably different. And to my ears, it brings it more into a line with a Strat sound, which interestingly enough, means that this guitar operates quite differently when it's driven. So anyone who likes the sound of a driven Strat, a lot of people think that Strats are all about that kind of clean thing. But if you overdrive a Strat for the right kind of material, it's pretty killer. So that's what makes this Jag really interesting on a drive sound.
I'll be here all day unless someone stops me.